Spending an entire day with Groucho Marx at his home was more than I ever deserved. Along with Charlie Chaplin and Sid Caesar, he was one of America's greatest comedians. This was one of those experiences that remains unforgettable. If you have ever seen a Groucho Marx movie, or a Marx Brothers movie, you will understand immediately. If this is the first time you have heard his name, tap on your keyboard and call in the films or his quiz show or one of his guest appearances. There have only been a handful of people that lived up to my eternally optimistic expectations of their uniqueness. Mr. Marx was one of them.
I'm just going to set this one over here. I'm going to just move along at a very slow, easy pace, and I'm just going to let you have as much time as you want to answer my questions. I've read your book and loved it. So many people who are familiar with you know everything about your background, your past, your great accomplishments. I'd like to ask you about life today. What is it like? What do you do in an average day? What's the time like for you these days?
I take a walk every day. It's very important to me. And I see a lot of movies and plays. I saw one that I was in this afternoon, Gilbert and Sullivan, which I played the lead. Mikado. Are you familiar with GNS?
With Gilbert and Sullivan, certainly. HMS Pinafore, the Mikado, of course. You say you take a walk every day. You were remarkably alert and healthy at your age. Have you always been physically conscious? Have you always exercised, done things like that?
I walk every day.
In the area here where you live? But years ago, did you also exercise, and were you a physically health-conscious person?
Yeah.
What about smoking and drinking?
I don't do either.
Did you, you used to smoke?
I used to smoke. I don't anymore. I don't drink.
I know you must have loved the cigar, which became your trademark. Did you ever like to take a little drink?
Oh, I have occasionally.
When you watch the television reruns of You Bet Your Life,
I don't see them anymore. They're on at midnight.
And you're asleep before the reruns go on now.
But I've seen all those shows.
When you watch yourself on television, are you as funny to you as to me?
Yes. I saw Animal Crackers last night.
Yes.
In the theater. I was very funny. And so was Harpo. Harpo was a great comedian. I thought he was as good as Chaplin.
Was Chaplin and Harpo the best?
Of their kind, there's another man who doesn't talk at all.
Marcel Marceau.
He's great. He's a great friend of Harpo's.
Let me ask you, this is a complicated question, but it's one in my mind, and you are the expert to ask. What is the ingredient to a great comedian? What makes certain people like yourself have the ability to make people laugh? What is the key?
That's a hard question to answer.
Yes, sir.
You either got it or you haven't. Sure, we used to work like in vaudeville.
Oh, yes.
We used to do 4 and 5 shows a day. And you try a joke, and if it doesn't go, you take it out and try another one the next show.
Are some comedians just born funny, or does every comedian have to work and practice at being funny? Are there natural comedians? Can anyone learn it?
Can anyone?
Yes.
I don't think so. Could you be funny?
I don't think so. And no matter how hard I practiced, I don't think I could.
No.
At what point in your life did you realize that you were going to be a great comic, that you were going to be the marvelous comedian that you became?
Well, when I was about 15, I started to be funny.
Tell me what happened then. Tell me, were you in school?
No, I didn't finish public school. I've written 6 books. I was with a vaudeville act called the Leroy Trio. And I was getting $4 a week. And room and board. There were 2 other people in the act. It was called the Leroy Trio. He had suits made for us. And it said on the Leroy Trio. Nobody knew who that was. And didn't care. So the show opened with me singing a religious song.
Ah.
Then Leroy came out with high heels and a dress and saying, "I wonder what's the matter with the mail. It never was so late before." Then Johnny Morris, he was a tap dancer. He came on and did a tap dance. And while he was dancing, one of his shoes fell in the audience and hit somebody. So instead of getting $60 for the act, we only got $40. And eventually, Leroy ran away with the tap dancer and left me alone in Colorado. So I wrote my mother, and she sent me money, a box of lunch, and railroad fare to come home.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was with an act with Lily Seville.
Mm-hmm.
She was an English girl. Lily Seville.
Yes.
She was very pretty, but had no talent. So I was in the act with her. We played on the interstate circuit. That's Mobile, Montgomery,
Alabama.
Birmingham, and all those towns. And on the bill was an animal act, wild animals. And we played 8 weeks, and the 8th week, Lily Seville ran away with the man who tamed the animals. Left me stranded in Dallas, Texas.
When you talk about your vaudeville days, your early days, it sounds to me like you enjoyed those days more than movies, more than television. Am I right?
No. I enjoyed all kinds. Vaudeville, musical comedy, what I'm doing now. I saw myself today in the Mikado, in which I played the lead.
Yes. But you don't, when you think back at vaudeville wasn't better for you than movies or television. You didn't enjoy that more. It was all...
I enjoyed all of them.
You did. There's a lot of talk now about where the new young comics are coming from, that we don't have as many young comedians as we did 10, 20, 30 years ago. Do you think that's true? Or that...
No, I don't think that's true. I think Woody Allen is a great comedian. There are others too, young ones coming along. That never stops. Each generation produces its own comics.
Mm-hmm. You are so enormously popular among the younger generation, the new generation who have grown up with you on television. Why do you think of all the comedians, you were the only one who they admire from the old school of comedy?
I guess I'm lucky.
No other ideas about that one?
Hmm?
Any other ideas about that one? Why so many young people respect you so much, find your material so funny today?
Well, it is funny. And youngsters laugh at funny things. Funny words.
When you were doing You Bet Your Life, were any of those ad-libs rehearsed in advance? Anything prepared?
No. No, I was a natural ad-libber.
Do you ever remember an ad-lib where anyone became insulted at something that you said to them?
No. In all the years I did the quiz show, no one was ever insulted.
There isn't anyone else who did that ever on television, was there? I mean, you see Johnny Carson and Steve Allen ad-lib.
Johnny Carson's very good. Very funny. Don't you think so?
I think he's a marvelous man, a very funny man, but certainly not, he didn't have that quickness that you had of hearing a line and suddenly thinking of another line to top it and it being so...
Woody Allen has it. I remember he said once, he said he doesn't mind dying. He just doesn't want to be there when it happens.
Do you think about that subject at all?
Hmm?
Does that subject bother you at all?
What?
What Woody Allen was talking about, dying, death. Do you think about that?
No. No, it's done in a comic way.
And you have no particular thoughts on that subject at all?
About dying?
Yes.
No. I expect to live for many years. I'm in perfect health. I don't plan on dying.
Besides comedy, besides comedians, what other entertainment or what other art forms do you like? Are there specific
I
types
like
of
good music.
What kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you
I
listen?
like Edmund Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
I played it. I like good opera. I like all kinds of music.
You're also friendly with Alice Cooper, who I interviewed a
Yes.
few weeks ago, who just loves you.
I gave him my old bed.
You gave him your old bed?
I had a round bed that didn't fit into the house, so I gave it to him. A strange name for a man, isn't it? Alice Cooper?
Yes, it's very unusual. Have you ever seen his act or listened to his music?
No. But I understand he's very good.
Yes. When you see people imitating you, you know, you see these Groucho Marx look-alike contests, people who do imitations of
I
you.
went in one of those contests and lost.
How do you think that those are amusing? Do you think they're funny?
Yeah, they're funny.
Who are the people in your own life, entertainment, politics, writers, anything, who have most influenced you, who you look up to the most, who you respect?
George Kaufman. Woody Allen. Monty Riskin. They wrote Of the I Sing.
Yes, yes.
Kaufman once said, I was the only man that he would allow to ad-lib in anything he had written.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Margaret Dumont, can you recall any little story or anecdote about her?
Yes. One night on the train, we took off all our clothes. She screamed so loud, you couldn't hear the train whistle. She was a great straight woman.
Yes. Off stage, was she very much like the character that you saw on the stage?
No. Very serious.
But in the movies, she always seemed like the woman who was so easily shocked.
That's right.
Off stage, was she that kind of a woman?
No. She didn't understand the jokes.
She didn't.
No. That's why she was funny. She's as funny as I was.
What about some of the other people in show business through the years? Who are your favorites? Who are the people you like to hang out with? Show business people.
That's a hard question to answer. I like all the comedians.
A question that I always ask everyone who I interview, it's usually the last question that I ask, is how would you like people to remember you?
I don't know. I think the best thing you can say about anyone is that he's a nice man. That covers everything.
And a lot of people will always say that about you forever, Groucho. Thank you very, very much for taking time to talk with us. It's been a great joy.
You didn't even have your drink.
I'm going to have my drink now. I'll turn off my machine.